Welcome to our channel. Today's episode is dedicated to analyzing public polls in the context of the upcoming 2024 United States presidential election. We will conduct an in-depth analysis of the election dynamics based on the data from numerous polls and expert opinions. This will help us better understand which candidate has the best chance of winning the presidency. In the study, we use models to predict the outcome of each state's vote, which allows us to predict the distribution of votes in different regions with high accuracy. Many states, where the outcome seems clear, are already marked on the map. Now, the focus shifts to the key battleground states, where the race remains unpredictable. A closer look at these states might give us some insight into who could come out ahead in this presidential election. Let's begin with Pennsylvania, where the latest data shows Kamala Harris holding a solid 5-point lead. Pennsylvania has always been home to some of the hottest political battles. In 2016, Donald Trump won the state by less than 1 point, and in 2020, Biden managed to take it by just 1 point. However, the most recent polls show a much wider gap between Harris and Trump, with Harris ahead by 5 points, which is significant for a state like Pennsylvania. It seems Harris has gained considerable support, and she doesn't seem to be slowing down. Harris isn't performing as well in Virginia as she is in Pennsylvania. Here, she leads by only 2 points, which isn't a big margin, especially considering that Virginia is seen as a Democratic state. In 2020, Biden had a 10-point lead. By the way, statistics show that 99% of our viewers are still not subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy our content and want to stay up to date on the latest political news, don't forget to hit subscribe, give us a like, and drop a comment. It really helps us grow and spread the word about the current political situation in the country. Let's now turn our attention to Iowa, where the latest polls show Donald Trump with a strong lead. He's ahead by 8 points, and his chances of winning here are quite high. Historically, Iowa leans Republican, and this trend seems likely to continue. However, the gap has narrowed slightly compared to earlier this year, when Trump's lead was more pronounced. Still, Trump is expected to secure this state. The picture is quite different in Minnesota, which favors Kamala Harris. Her chances of winning here are estimated at 82%, as Minnesota traditionally supports Democratic candidates, and this election cycle seems no different. In 2020, Biden won Minnesota by a 7-point margin, and Harris appears poised to maintain that support. Wisconsin is another key state, and it's still too close to call. Trump had been leading until recently, but the latest polls now show Harris slightly ahead. The situation here remains tense. Wisconsin has historically been a battleground state, and both sides are pouring resources into it. A Harris victory in Wisconsin could significantly boost her position and increase her influence in neighboring states. In Michigan, the situation is clearer. Harris is leading by 3 points, with a 62% chance of winning. Michigan was critical to Trump's victory in 2016, but it swung back to the Democrats in 2020, and Harris hopes to hold it this time around, as Michigan could play a pivotal role in the upcoming election. Things are far less predictable in North Carolina, where both candidates are neck and neck. This state is one of the key battlegrounds, and the competition here will be fierce. The race is so tight that it's difficult to predict which candidate will come out on top. In South Carolina, Donald Trump is firmly in the lead. His chances of winning here are as high as 94%, and historically, this state has consistently voted Republican. Based on past elections and current data, it's safe to say Trump will likely win here. Meanwhile, Arizona is shaping up to be another critical battleground. The situation here is similar to Wisconsin, with no clear advantage for either candidate. The main battle is still ahead. Arizona flipped blue in the 2020 election for the first time in decades, and maintaining that momentum would be a significant victory for Harris. In Florida, Trump currently leads by 4 points. However, polling data hasn't been updated in several days, so we're waiting for fresh results. In 2020, Trump won Florida by 3 points, and his lead has slightly increased, suggesting he's likely to hold on to the state if support remains stable. Texas, a Republican stronghold, is another state where Donald Trump is expected to win. His chances of victory here are estimated at 74%. While Democrats have been closing the gap in recent years, Texas is likely to stay Republican, as it has traditionally been a stronghold for the GOP, and there's little indication of change in this election. The race in Georgia is much closer. Both candidates are fighting hard for votes here. In 2020, Biden won by a razor-thin margin, and the race is expected to be just as close this time around. Despite the tight margin, Trump has a strong chance of reclaiming this state and solidifying his position. Let's move on to Arkansas, where the latest data shows Trump with a solid lead of over 12 points. Like Iowa, Arkansas is traditionally Republican, and that trend is expected to continue. Projections for New Mexico suggest that Kamala Harris has an 89% chance of winning, as the state has traditionally supported Democrats. In 2020, Biden won by 10 points, and Harris is expected to follow in his footsteps. Nevada is another state where Harris is slightly ahead, leading by 4 points. Historically, Nevada leans Democratic, but the margin has narrowed in recent elections. Even so, the state's 6 electoral votes could be crucial for Harris. In Alaska, Donald Trump has a solid lead, with an 89% chance of winning. Although the gap has narrowed slightly in recent polls, Trump is still expected to secure a comfortable victory here. In New Hampshire, Harris holds a strong position with an 80% chance of winning. This state traditionally supports Democrats, and the current polls suggest she's well ahead. In 2020, Biden won by 7 points, and Harris seems likely to increase that margin. Finally, Hawaii is firmly in the Democratic column, with Harris virtually guaranteed to win. Historically, Hawaii has always supported the Democrats, so there's no surprise here. As for North and South Dakota, they are completely supportive of Donald Trump. In these states, Trump has a huge advantage of 20 and 30 points. That wraps up our analysis. Thanks for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and give us a like. Stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to track developments ahead of the election.